We are going on an adventure. This is Archeos Society and we are Nerds of the West. Thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to show you how to play this set collection game. My name is Tom. We have a Sean.
Hello.
We have a Beck.
Hey.
And we have a Lachlan.
Howdy.
Sean, what is the goal and what are we doing in Archeos Society?
So in Archeos Society, it is a set collection game. So we have these cards here that we'll be drawing and then trying to build sets of either the same color of card or the same roles of card or suits. And then we'll be playing them down and moving our corresponding tokens up these boards to gain points. The theme of the game is going out on expedition. So gathering a team together, picking a leader, going out on expeditions to, travel the world.
Travel the world to win points.
Yeah.
You play in a number of seasons, and a season is roughly equal to running through the entire deck. Each season has a variable ending time because you shuffle in randomly these 3 golden monkey cards in the bottom half of the deck. When you reveal the final gold monkey, that is the end of the season. It ends immediately. But if it is not the final season, the person who drew the golden monkey will get to go first next season, but without their hand of cards. Because there are 2 actions you can take in this game. You can either collect cards from the area known as the display, which for us will be down the bottom there, or you can draw from the deck, and I'll go into the exact details of that because the second action that you can do is play the sets that you collect from your hand. You can draw from what is face up there for you to see, or you can draw from the deck, and if there are no cards in the display, good job me, you will be able to draw 2 cards from the deck. There is, however, a hand limit of 10 cards. You cannot, under any circumstances, ever draw more than 10 cards. If an effect would cause you to draw more than 10 cards, you simply don't. You draw up to 10 and that is it. If you have 10 cards in your hand on your turn, you have to play an expedition. Sean?
Yep.
What are you doing when you play an expedition?
So when you play an expedition, you have your hand of cards, and a set can be of any size. You can have 1 to up to 10 cards. As you can see, there's 3 here. The one of the cards, you will pick it to be the leader. So in this case, it's the topmost card there. This one is the physician. Each leader, each different type of card that you choose for it to be the leader does have its own effect. So
those are displayed in the top where they've got these different symbols. So when you play a set, you need to put cards behind it from your hand. So in this instance, we've got the physician and we've got 2 students behind them, but the physician is the leader, and this is going to be a green set, which will move us on the green board, which is Machu Picchu.
Yep. So because Lachlan has played a green set, which is more than 2 cards, he can move his vehicle up to the next section.
And these could be any green symbols. They don't have to be students. This is just an example.
Yep.
They could have another physician underneath, as long as it meets the requirement to progress the track. You cannot progress more than 1 space on the track. So even if I was to play 4 cards in my first turn, then I would still only move into the next spot. Then at the end of the season, you are rewarded the number of victory points depending on which section you are on that track.
The other benefit is that the leader that you choose has a special effect. So for the physician, instead of returning your remaining cards to display, you may keep a number of cards in your hand up to the size of this expedition. So that is one of the key things with this game, is that if you have, let's say, a hand of 10 and you play out a set of 3, the other 7 cards that you did not play will go into the display. That is leaving them open for the other players at the table to be able to take them.
And it's the only way the display replenishes.
Correct.
So that is how you can end up with no cards in the display to draw 2 from the deck. You will always do that regardless of if you play a set of a number of colors or a set of matching symbols. Anything left over will always go back to the display. And you are always checking for what your leader is, for what color you are playing, to see where on the track you need to meet and beat to go up to the next one. But we are playing with 6 different roles today, and each role has a different ability. So what have we got to play with? This is the starting set that the game recommends you play with.
Yeah.
So the physician.
Yep, already explained him. So he allows you to return, instead of returning the remaining cards that you have in your hand to the display, like we've just spoken about, you get to keep a number of cards in your hand up to the size of the expedition that you placed out. So in this case, if it's a 1-card expedition, you can keep 1 card still in your hand and the others will have to go into the display.
The pilot. So while this is a purple pilot,
Yep.
Normally, the card affects the track, so they're all 6 different colors. The pilot allows you to move up on any of the tracks if they have the leader. The guide.
The expedition is considered to have 1 additional card for the purpose of advancing on a track.
So, for example, if this was the guide, you could play just the guide and it would count as 1 and it would allow you to go up. But if you played it on the second space, you would only need 1 card to move the 2 space.
Correct. It just makes whatever the condition is to move up that section of the track 1 less.
Yep, and that's clearly marked here on the card itself, where it has a -1 to move up on the track, which means that the movement on the track is 1 cheaper. The botanist.
When you play out a expedition, you will, with the botanist as the leader, you will get the botanist frame. Now, the botanist frame has 2 symbols on the top, 2 stars. So straight away, the black 2 represents that you'll get 2 points immediately. And then if you have the botanist frame at the end of the season, you will also score an additional 2. But another player or yourself can take the frame if they play a expedition with the botanist as the leader that is the same size or greater. So if I played one out that had the botanist as the leader and it was a size of 2 in front of me, I would then take the frame, put it on my expedition, and I would score the 2 points straight away. But if I manage to keep that frame there and no one plays a botanist that's the same size or bigger than my expedition, I will then score the 2 points at the end of the season.
The next one we have is the photographer.
So the photographer at season end score this expedition as if it had 1 additional card. So over here on the scoring track, there is this little chart here which shows that at the end of the season, if you have a size of 2, you'll get 1 point. All the way up to a size of 6 or more, you'll get 12 points for every one of those expeditions of that size.
Worth noting, an expedition of 1 will not score you any points.
Exactly. But if you had an expedition of 1 for the photographer, it's actually worth an expedition of 2. So you will score points for that.
And then the last one that we're playing with today is the student.
Student is a little bit of actually a restriction. When the student is the leader of this expedition, you cannot advance any of your vehicles regardless of the expedition size.
So if you played a student as the leader with an expedition size of 3, you would not progress on the pink track because it's the student that is the lead. But to note that there are more students in the deck than there are anything else, so the benefit of those is that they're going to fill up your expeditions for other leaders.
And are we playing with any special boards today? Because not only do you have a bunch of different cards, there are 6 more in the deck for you to, in the box for you to choose from. You have a whole lot of different boards, and each of them can have an advanced side and a basic side. So I believe Chichen Itza is the only one in the base game that has a advanced side that we're playing with.
Yep. And the benefit is, so when you advance to the next step, whatever the cost of it was, you get to draw a card from the deck.
So equal to the cost.
Equal to the cost.
Yeah, so if you go up the first slot, you draw 1 card. The second slot, you draw 2 cards. And that is after you have played an expedition and discarded those cards. So that is the goal of Archeos Society. You need to draw cards, to play expeditions, to move up on the tracks in the different areas, to hopefully score more points at the end of each season. Because these tracks do not reset, you are going to continue to score those points. But also the bigger sets you can play each season, you will score more points. In a 4-player game, we're going to play through 3 seasons, and the tiebreaker is the person who plays the largest expedition in the final season. And if that is tied, you go back and down and down and down through each of the expeditions you have played. So you want to make sure that you get some real big points in that final season to win you the game. We are now going to play it through, so if you're more of a visual learner, you can jump over onto our YouTube or join us every single week, twitch.tv/nerdsofthewest. Watch our playthroughs, learn the game, have fun with us. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you next time.